Hello and welcome. Sophia Lucia Perola here with Garden State Film Festival. This year from March 27th through March 30th, you can come to the 23rd annual Garden State Film Festival. We're back at Asbury Park, New Jersey and Cranford, New Jersey with over 200 films this year. You can check out our lineup and any tickets at gsff.org. And one of the films you can check out is this short film called Love and Near Death. Here to talk with us about the film are all of these amazing artists you're about to see right here. I'm going to let them introduce themselves and their titles in the film. But first off, hello, everyone, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
My pleasure. I love this part. I love getting to talk to filmmakers and artists, and I'm really excited to talk to you guys about the making of this film. But let's start by, what are your names? What are your titles?
I'm Jay Stern, and I'm the director of Love and Near Death.
My name's Annie Watkins. I am one of the producers on the film and also the actresses in the film.
I'm Stephen Garvey, and I wrote the thing.
I'm Josh Shaw. I was a producer on the film, and I make a little cameo also. Beautiful. And also, Annie is the star of the movie. She said she's one of the actresses. She's on every.
Let her be humble. Let her be humble. We're going to ask a question.
That's her on the poster right behind me.
We got plenty of questions for Annie and her lead role. But first, Stephen, you wrote the thing, as you said. So can you tell our audiences a little bit about Love and Near Death and what they're going to see at Garden State Film Festival?
Yeah, sure thing. It's about this woman, Amanda, school teacher, art teacher, who, kind of down on her luck romantically. And she finds herself in an accident where she goes into a near-death state, and in that sort of in between life and death, she meets her actual soulmate. But as near-death experiences go, she comes back to life, and this perfect person for her isn't around anymore, and she just tries to figure out how to go about being alive again in the world without this perfect soulmate, and begins a search actually to try to find him.
I love it. Funny, spiritual. I won't give anything away, but you guys got a lot going on in this film. How did you all come together? How did Jay become the director? Annie, you were the lead. Josh, you were executive producer and locations. Have you guys worked together before? And how do we bring this team together?
We all met on a show of Steve's back in a dozen years ago that he wrote. What?
So a dozen years.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and we all met and worked together on that, and we worked together on various projects. Also, our music director who wrote the music for this, and the choreographer, we were all on that show, and we've always wanted to find other ways of working together.
Yeah, so it's musical theater, doing stuff on stage, and Jay, generally does film, and getting the dream team to work back together again. Jay and Steve kind of always wanted to work on something. And I, took advantage of that. And our family, we have a production company and, have been looking to start making our own things. Really passionate about musicals on film. That's the little surprise within our short film is there's a little musical number. And so that was bringing together our family into this theater project.
And Josh was new. We hadn't worked with Josh before.
Okay.
I've known him since maybe the day I was alive, but other than that.
Wow. So starting with you, Josh, what initially attracted you to this project? Why did you want to hop on it as executive producer and locations manager?
Well, Annie put it together really with Stephen and Jay, and they wrote it together as a vehicle for her, right? They wanted to showcase her musical and acting chops. So they wrote it a couple years before, and then Annie brought it to me after last year we made Malcolm Miracle, and it did well at Garden State. And she said, we should make this movie. And I read it, and it was a very ambitious, but it was doable. And Annie and I were siblings, if you haven't figured that out already. But we've worked as location managers and scouts for 15 to 20 years between us, and or both of us, and so we had ideas of each of the locations in the script, and I think there's like 12 scripted locations, and we thought of some some options that we could really, be able to shoot as much as possible. Like, I think at the school we ended up shooting 7 different locations. So knowing that it was doable and that we have friends that are musical theater actors, I went to school for musical theater before I realized I couldn't sing or dance, and I better get into film and TV. So I had friends that had been on Broadway, and so did all these folks. So we were able to pull together an incredible cast. People that you've seen on TV, you've seen them on Marvel shows, you've seen them on Law and Order and Blacklist and Blue Bloods. We've got a really incredible cast. So all those elements came together, and Jay's great, Stephen, the script is hilarious. Everything came together really well. So that's why I jumped at the opportunity.
For sure. Lots of elements, like you guys said, a musical number. There's another really fun, interesting, empowering scene in there that you get to be a part of. Pretty much you get to be a part of every scene. As we said, you play Amanda, our lead. You bring us through this film. What was that like for you? Are you a comedic actress? Is this a character you've played before?
Yes and no. A lot of times I would say I am the foil or a funny best friend. I'm a lot of times a character actor, and on stage. And this was a really amazing opportunity to kind of spearhead something and sometimes be the straight man. It was really fun also having produced the film from early on, being part of making a lot of the decisions and who to bring everybody on, and just it's interesting to watch. It's interesting it's hard to watch it unbiased and actually see my performance, because I feel like I have an idea and a memory about every single frame. Like it's hard to step back from when I was on set trying to be aware and conscious of everything that was going on. And it was fun to also have the opportunity to turn that off and try to deliver a performance. And yeah, it was a really cool learning experience in that sense. It was one of my first biggest acting roles on screen, as well as having produced it, just
a first for that.
Yeah, so I learned so much. It was exhausting. Like you said, just when you say I'm in every scene, it was really, and like Josh said, it was a really ambitious script, just as because of schedule and because of what we could accomplish. We really did a lot in a short period of time.
We shot it in 3 days, which I think is worth mentioning.
Wow.
It seems, sure, you can do that, but I want to recommend it.
Yes.
But we had to. It's like we didn't have money, and
we had time constraints with Alex.
That's right.
Yeah, between tours.
Yeah.
So we had him for 5 days. So we pre-recorded one day, rehearsed the next day, shot 3 days of principal photography, and he went back on tour. And then we did do 2 pickup days.
We did, yes, a couple of
half pickup days.
Yeah.
So I call it 4 days, but Jay calls it 3.
I think we were to add up all the time. It's probably 4 days, but the main shoot was that.
Yeah.
3 days.
Wow.
We had a marathon 3 days, and then
So Jay, 3 days of directing this film that has a lot going on, lots of actors, lots of locations, like we said, a lot of different elements in this film. Have you ever directed a piece like this before?
Not quite like this, but I've done indie features, and I've done some musical theater on stage. And the big thing made this work is I worked with my cinematographer, Alan McIntyre Smith, who's brilliant, great, and we have a good rapport. He's very fast. We really planned this out in great detail. We have a shorthand, and Annie, we had a chance to rehearse a little bit too. So I think we went into it thinking it was doable. But it just, you have to be very specific about what you get, and you got to take and you move on. You can't be precious about that kind of thing. So I guess, like I said, I haven't really done anything quite like this, but we've done enough other things to know that we could do it. I don't think, it wasn't really until like halfway through day one that I realized, we really took on this big project.
Right. And what makes that successful? You have to do all these things and do it and move on. So what, did you guys have rehearsals? Did you knew you have a good rapport with the actors, like you worked with them before? Was there something that contributed to the successful 3-day shoot?
It's just the team in general. We had the composer on set with playing tracks. We had a choreographer we rehearsed with prior with, and she brought her dancers on. Annie brought us Alex. She had known him previously through.
Yeah, we went to school together at Circle in the Square.
So we all kind of were leaning on each other. Our first choice for production designer wasn't available because we had to shift dates to accommodate Alex. But then I had a former student actually come on and really hit it out of the park, and that was really great. And then we all sort of just pulled in our various favors, which you kind of have to do. But a big part of it is just, I think we had a lot of goodwill towards it. It was a project we all really passionately kind of we wanted to do. We thought it would be a really fun thing to do. And I think Josh did a really great job too of sort of helping us keep it chill on set for the most part, because it could have gotten very stressful. There was a heat wave. There were all kinds of things that were unpleasant, but we all kind of just made eye contact with each other and checked in and kept plowing ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. And Steven, speaking about this fun project, it's your project. It's you wrote this. What was the inspiration for writing, and did it kind of come out how you visioned it while you were writing it or seeing it on the page?
Yeah, it's funny because it really did all start with, I think, a phone call with Annie and Jay where they were just like, hey, we really want to make a film together, and we want to show off, as Josh said, Annie's acting and singing and comedic chops. And then we just hit the go button. They hung up, and I started thinking of different ideas. What can we do with this such and such a budget? The one beauty going into this is having worked with Jay before, is that he can, he never tells me to limit what I'm doing. He's just like, right, and then we'll figure it out. And we did that when we've done stage productions. We've done that, he's like, it's not your responsibility as a writer to be thinking about the production. It's just, tell the right story. And I've just always found the afterlife, near-death experiences, all that stuff I just think is really, really interesting as a jumping off point. And the idea of someone being so down on their luck that they could meet their soulmate and still find a way to screw it up was appealing to me. So, and then that was it. And then I knew once I wrote it that putting it into these guys' hands, that it was going to come out exactly the way I had hoped, but in some areas not the way I had imagined, but it was actually better. So it was really thrilling to see it come together, to be on the set, to get to have a reaction shot in the film. That's now my Facebook profile picture.
It gets us every time. Steve's face is in the film. Well, and from me. Steve's face is in the film for a few seconds, and it gets a laugh every time. Anyway.
All right, we'll have to watch out for that. People watching this interview, look for this face.
Wow. Just thrilled with how it, to write something and to just know that it's this like PDF sitting on your, on your computer, and then to see it come to life like this, to walk on a set, to see a catering, station and all these people running around, and think to yourself, wow, I was, sitting in my pajamas when I wrote this scene, and now, 50 people are running around making this happen. That's always going to be a thrill for me.
I love that. So it's a little harder. We're running out in like 2 more minutes, but I want to hear, all of you kind of had a foot in producing this. Jay, you also part of directing this. Josh, you had location. Annie, you were lead actress. With all of the hats that you guys wore, what is one piece of advice? I want to hear from each of you that you will take, that you learned from this project, that you're going to take with you to the next project. And then maybe someone else watching could be like, oh, okay. Like, what's kind of one thing you learned, either from your full career or really when it came to this project?
Well, for me, it's work with people that you love and enjoy and want to work with. This was really, it was friends and family across the board. My wife did hair and makeup. Annie's good friend did wardrobe. Jay also edited. We had Alan, our DP's daughter, is in the first scene. Both my sons are in it. Steven appeared. We all got in there. We were all down and dirty and just really had a great time. So for me, walking away from this experience is I just want to continue working with friends and family as much as possible. I'm totally for nepotism. 100%.
Yeah, especially when it comes to indie films, like
Oh yeah.
free work when you can get it, or just work with people you like.
Yeah.
Yes, Annie's thinking real hard. I'm excited to see what she's.
I mean, it's really about dropping in and taking advantage of the moment. Like you said, there's so much prep and stuff that goes into filmmaking, and then the moments you get to really be on set. This is interview. It has been fun to like recall back to, being on set, because just being in the moment and really enjoying that and taking advantage of that time of being in the moment. And
I think my biggest lesson was about the script. I'm a writer-director too, and I tend to maybe I don't like my own work, or maybe my own work isn't very as polished, and I'm often making it through making the film, and a lot of rejiggering of scenes and cutting out lines of dialogue and making all kinds of things in post, struggling to find it, and even on set struggling to find these moments. And the beauty of the script was it was possible because we could just do the script. It could just scene would shoot itself to some degree when you have that dialogue and the actors, and we block it the way we block it. And the moments were very clear to find. It was very clear to me in the writing where to pull out moments and where to massage things and where to let it sit. And the biggest lesson is like, oh my God, if you have a right script, this job of directing is exceptionally easy. Comparatively easy, for sure.
Oh, I like that. Very interesting. Stephen, what do you think?
I guess my lesson is, it's funny, we wrote this sort of during the pandemic or just after the pandemic, but I still pressure to get this thing done quickly. And my advice to other writers is always just don't be afraid to write badly. I shot the first draft of the script out in a weekend, and that's not bragging. 30% of it was usable, and a lot of it was garbage. But it's being able to write something quickly while it's in you, get it out on paper, and then you take the time afterwards to massage it. But a lot of times writers get hung up on looking at that blank page, and my advice is always just crank it out. It doesn't have to be great. Don't be afraid to write badly.
Love that. And I love even what you said, Jay said earlier, is like, just don't limit yourself. Write what you want to write. Go as big as you can be, because a lot of people kind of, I know I do when I'm writing, like, okay, but what can I afford? Or, oh, how am I going to get that? So really cool. Well, we ran out of time, guys, but I could talk to you all day. I really loved the film. I think you all are extremely talented, and I could feel the love and the talent in this room. So it has been an honor to interview you all today. And let me tell everyone watching how you can see Love and Near Death. It will be playing Saturday, March 29th at the Berkeley. The film block is 2:30 p.m. to 4:45 p.m. So get on GSFF.org, get individual tickets, get a weekend pass, a parkway pass. You'll see all of those right on that website. Will you all be at the Garden State Film Festival this year?
Yes.
Wow. 444. Amazing. Well, I'm really looking forward to meeting you all in person. Josh, you again, maybe multiple of you again. I'm not sure if you've been there before, but anyways, thank you and congratulations. And I'll see you at the film festival.
Thank you, Sophia.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. See you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.